What's good, B-Sounds? It's your boy, Kickin' Raid, and I'm sat here today, this morning, with my coffee and you, hoping to have a discussion with you, as in I really want to hear about what you feel about it. Exercising to lose weight, especially if you are very overweight, because I was never very overweight, but I definitely would have fitted in the fat boy category. Like, one time, me and my band were on tour, and this guy was like, "Hey, you guys are great, you remind me of Meatloaf," and I was like, oh, because like he's had a lot of looks, but none of them are the thin white duke, you know what I'm saying? When I lost all my weight, I didn't really have a good grasp on the science. I just sort of intuited that I should eat less and move more. So I ate less. I ate the same thing every day. It was 2 boiled eggs on 3 toast, no lunch, and then chicken, rice, and vegetables in the evening, and lots of coffee. Not a high protein diet, and I don't recommend it. And I moved more. I went for runs every day. I did 50 push-ups every day, and I did Dolph Lundgren's Maximum Potential every day.
I found it very sad because I knew that if they'd only worked out and stayed healthy, they'd reach their maximum potential.
A lot of those days were bloody miserable, and I was already active. I was an active fat boy. Several days a week I did jiu-jitsu, and I performed, as I said, in a band, and we were pretty enthusiastic while we were going for it. The way I did it worked, but it worked through sheer spite. And I guess that's one of the reasons that I got into this, to try and help other people have an easier time getting where they want to get than I did. So exercise is fun, right? We agree, on the whole. But running when you're heavy is really shit. Running at all is really shit. And I remember watching this lecture on keto way before it was mainstream. Like, the only way you could learn about keto at the time was these potato quality videos on YouTube that were literally scientific lectures. And there was this guy, I want to say he was Dutch, saying exercise is supposed to be enjoyable, and by telling people to exercise to lose weight, you're setting them up to fail because it's hard to exercise when you're heavy, and you'll set them up to have a bad relationship with exercise because when they lose the weight, they're not going to want to do the exercise anymore. And I thought, that's an interesting point. Now, it didn't happen to me. I swung all the way around. I came all the way back. But it is an interesting point. I mean, if we roughly figure out the calories that I burned daily, I ran for 30 minutes a day. And I say ran, I mean jogged. I probably had a 10-minute mile. There was a boxing warm-up on Maximum Potential. That was like 5 minutes. And there was a 20-minute bodyweight circuit. And then there was some stretching. So let's see what the internet says. I was about 15 stone. And I had about a 10-minute mile. So this here website says 450 calories for the running. Vigorous calisthenics or light calisthenics, and the difference is about double. So we'll go halfway and say 200 calories for the circuit and the push-ups. Mild stretching, maybe 10 minutes, so 75 calories. We did some boxing. That was about 50 calories. So let's say overall I increased my calorific expenditure. 450 plus 200 plus 75. 725 calories. So 725 calories. That's pretty good going, I reckon. But would I have required less spite and had a more pleasant time by reducing my caloric expenditure by those 725 calories? I mean, if I'd have swapped my daily can of Pepsi for a can of Pepsi Max, that'd be 140 calories saved and a taste improvement. I used to go through mayo like meth. I don't know how long meth lasts, but I assume not long, and I ate a lot of mayo. So let's kindly assume that I ate 50 grams of mayo a day. That's 360 calories. I could have swapped that out for lighter than light mayo at 30 calories. I also ate real butter, like not by the block or anything, but that is the only thing that I'd put on toast. So even while I was on that diet, I was on real butter. So 20 grams of real butter, 150 calories, and 20 grams of Lurpak Lightest, 75 calories, so that's half saved. I was very fond of cheese, so 100 grams of cheese is 400 calories. Reduced fat cheddar, 270 calories. So that's 4 swaps, as in we didn't actually lose anything, we just swapped, and I saved 675 calories, which is almost what I was burning spending an hour and a half a day exercising. Would I have ended up where I am now if I had just swapped to Pepsi Max? No. But is everyone in the position to revenge body themselves out of pure spite and self-hatred? And is that a good idea? Because I think probably not. There's got to be good feelings behind it, otherwise it's not a positive, sustainable, healthy change. And I know in my situation I dieted as well, so it's not a perfect analogy, but I definitely didn't do it smartly. Hill sprints, oh yeah, I did hill sprints twice a week. For a chonkster, I just don't think that kind of misery, when you feel like you have to do it, sets you up for success. It's all very well choosing to do things that suck because you're choosing to, but if you feel like you're being forced for the sake of staying alive, like not an early grave, I don't know. Not to mention that a lot of people experience an increase in appetite after exercise, so a tough session could just cause you to overeat or require twice as much willpower to stick to the diet that you've decided to be on. And willpower, we know, is a limited resource. But then on the other end of the spectrum is David Goggins, right? Dude weighed 300 pounds and ran, cycled, exercised, dieted every day until he was his goal weight and lost a ridiculous amount of weight ridiculously fast and then never stopped. And now, you know, he's built a career out of embracing the suck. Like, that's his thing. So you can't argue with his results or his success, but for every David Goggins, surely there are 1,000 Stanley Gibbons. I just don't think everyone is going to have the mental fortitude to get through that, or would even want to live the kind of life that David Goggins seems to need to in order to maintain his mental equilibrium. Like, I want to be hard, but I don't want to be David Goggins hard. I like pancakes and lions. I like having friends and a partner. Now I understand that he's struck some sort of balance with happiness, but I like my deal with it better. So what do you think? Full bore suck it up? Or is there a progression? Is it like diet first until you're under 35% body fat and then do something else? I personally think that unfortunately, some sort of education is basically unavoidable if you want the best chance at success and a non-sucky ride. And again, unfortunately, that's pretty much got to be self-driven because our NHS is too deliberately underfunded to function well. And so staff don't have time to sit down and give everyone a little science lesson. God bless them. Magazines are all about keeping you in that like binge diet cycle so that you buy the next diet next week. Supplement companies are trying to sell you fat burners and shit that you don't need that aren't good for you anyway. And basically, eating less doesn't make anyone rich, so you're pretty much stuffed, is all you. I think you would need to learn the basic things like protein, like how much is enough, which if you're not trying to build muscle, 0.7 grams per pound of body weight is great. A staggering amount of people don't get that. The fact that it's the most satiating macronutrient, so being full on protein is going to last longer than being full on pasta. Wish I'd have known that. Just generally how to count calories and how to understand how many you may need and what substitutions you can make, like instantly, no caloric beverages, low calorie sources only. It's easiest to reduce your carbs. Like keto is actually a legit diet, which is incredible for losing weight fast with minimal cravings. It does come with its own difficulties, but if you actually do it correctly, I do think that it is the most effective way of losing weight fast and not wanting to die, which I think is also important. And then walking, like get out and walk as much as possible, stick on a podcast, enjoy some nature, stop driving, and just do what you can. I think for a significantly large person, that's all I'd say. At some point, I'd add in strength training, probably just barbell training, and then incorporate more spicy and sucky stuff when that person chooses to do it, I suppose, and doesn't feel forced by fear of death. What do you think? Hard way or no way? Like just diet, just walk? What would your strategy be if you were very overweight and not in the best mental fettle, which in my limited experience pretty much seems to go hand in hand with being very overweight. Things have happened to get you there, and when you're there, none of your chemistry is working properly. I'm going to put myself out on a limb and say that I don't believe in health at any size. I believe in happiness at any size, but I don't think that those things are necessarily related. You can be unhealthy and happy, and you can be happy and unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? I've got off the point. It's all just ideas, man. And if you've got different ideas, that's all right. And if your ideas are better than my ideas, I'll adopt your ideas, because that's how it's supposed to work, isn't it? Anyway, just a thought, and I would genuinely love to hear yours. Like, what's your experience? Are you a previous large person? Do you know a large person? If you were a large person, what would you do? How would you educate a person, and how would you get them into a better position? I'm almost out of coffee, so I'm gonna get going. I would love to hear your opinion on all this stuff, and yeah, have a great day. Get them gains. Be well.